You're dangerously close to living the exact same year again. Same thoughts, same excuses, same conversations, same version of you, just older. That's what should scare you, not failure, repetition. Because people think their life changes through big decisions. It doesn't. Your life changes when your daily patterns change. And most people's patterns never really change. They just age inside them. That's why someone can wake up 5 years later, shocked their life still looks the same, even though they were trying. Because trying means nothing if your patterns stay untouched. That's the trap. People think awareness changes them, wanting changes them, realizing something changes them. It doesn't. You can understand your problems perfectly and still repeat them for 10 years. That's what makes this dangerous. You can predict where your life is heading and still wake up tomorrow doing the exact same things. That should bother you. Because it means the information is not the problem. Most people already know they delay, they avoid difficult conversations, they waste time, they distract themselves. They live below their potential, they know. And yet, their life stays the same. Why? Because the brain cares more about familiarity than happiness. Your brain cares more about what feels familiar than what feels good. That means if struggle is familiar, you will protect it, even while complaining about it. That's why people sabotage progress. Not because they hate success, because success feels unfamiliar. And unfamiliar feels dangerous. So the brain pulls you backward, quietly. Not through dramatic collapse, through tiny daily decisions. You delay one thing, you avoid one conversation, you waste one evening, and you tell yourself, I'll start seriously next week. And none of it feels important. That's why it works. If wasting your life felt terrifying every day, nobody would do it. Instead, it feels comfortable. That's the mechanism. Comfort is what makes years disappear, not suffering, not pain. Comfort. Because comfort removes urgency, and without urgency, people drift. They consume instead of build. They think instead of act. And the worst part is, they genuinely believe they're moving, because emotion creates the illusion of movement. You can feel inspired, clear, motivated, and still remain psychologically identical for years. That's what people never measure. Not income, not status, not goals, patterns. Did your patterns actually change? Or did you just decorate the same life differently? That's the real question. Because your future is not built from intentions, it's built from repetition. What you repeat becomes automatic, and what becomes automatic starts feeling like who you are. That's why most people never change. They wait for some massive emotional moment to finally become different. But change is less emotional than people think. Most change comes from repeated behaviors, not massive realizations. You either interrupt the pattern or the pattern becomes your future again. And then you notice something uncomfortable. Your life keeps moving, even when you don't. Monday becomes Thursday, January becomes October. You keep saying, this year went by so fast. No, you repeated it so many times, your brain stopped recording it. That's why childhood felt longer. Everything was new. And now, most people wake up inside the same emotional structure every day. Same thoughts, same reactions, same behaviors. That's not living, it's looping. And loops are dangerous. Because after enough repetition, people stop believing they can change. Not because change is impossible, because patterns start feeling like their identity. Eventually, people stop imagining a different life at all. They just learn how to manage disappointment better. That's the part most people never realize. Your life is not controlled by your goals. It's controlled by what feels normal to you. That's the real prison. Not bad circumstances, familiar ones. So if you want to know whether you're about to waste another year, don't look at your ambitions. Look at your repetitions. Because if your pattern stays the same, your future already happened.